Hey guys, testing your API without deploying. So you're wondering what is that? That's running your local host. You hit F5 if you're doing .NET, Visual Studio, run the debug, hit your API, and do all your testing that way. What I'm talking about, I want to motivate the example, is that recently I did an exercise on webhooks, or in this case, some people call them REST hooks these days. So that's basically your pub sub type of model where you don't pull a service for changes because that could be intense on your resources. Instead, you subscribe to it, so you create a hook on their system, and then whenever something happens that you subscribe to it, or you do something in a system that you've hooked onto, so to speak, it will send you that information. And when it does that, you need to have some endpoint registered with them, a hook, if you will, registered with that service, and it needs to be public. It needs to be exposed to the internet and all that, so it can actually send you the information. So when you set it up, it does a quick check to check that. So if that made any sense, basically, when you're creating a hook, a REST hook, you need something public. So how do you do that when you're doing API testing? Because typically we don't just go and deploy stuff to production dev. It's like, I want to test it locally first. Like, who in their right mind is just going to deploy it to dev? You could, but that's extra time. And you'll feel better. You'll be able to sleep at night when you do the local host type stuff. That's your fourth environment, and then you go through the chain with your three. So basically that's ngrok. Ngrok, and there's a host of other things that basically make a secure tunnel, and you can just sort of have it exposed. It generates a nice public type URL. Go ahead and access it from anywhere else, another computer, off your network, your phone, from your cellular network, you name it. Your friend that you're coding with who lives in California is like, hey, can you test this real quick? I don't have time to deploy, or we don't have all this money to launch into AWS, and even though it would be only like a few bucks for that night, turn it on and off, just extra headache. Why don't you just expose it with ngrok? So let me show you what I'm talking about. It's a little bit lengthy, but stay with me. This can be a short one. So if you go ngrok here, and there's a number of services that do this same type of thing, but this is my favorite. So what does it do? Exactly what we just talked about, and it exposes it. So if you let's do a quick project here. Let's do. Let me just terminal it. Get that big. Let's blow this up a little bit. In the past, some of my things haven't been readable, legible. The font is just way too small. My friend, props to Sean for pointing that out. I finally am going to do that and be more conscious of it. Anyway, let's get back. Let's go to my projects, and let's just make something. Let's do ngrok sample. Let's call it that. CD ngrok sample. Okay, so we're in here. I'm just gonna npm init. Let's just get a quick node app going. Just kind of do one of these. So I'll just show you this. So we're in here. Let me just get some VS Code because this stuff is nice and quick. And I have nodemon already in there. Nodemon, this is basically, let's just do server.js. There you go. So it's running, it's not there because there's nothing there. Let me stop that real quick. I run tmux. Let me just do tmux real quick. Terminal multiplexer, in case you're wondering. You could get a couple terminals in there, but I like to do this. So here's this one, and let's just nodemon server.js, so that's running. Then I'll do some work over here. Let's do npm install. We need an express server. Let's just get one of those going real quick. Okay, and that crashed, and of course we don't have a server.js. Let me get that going. Server.js. Let's get the Express app going. Let's see, const, what is it? App, oops, I'm sorry. Express equals, you want to require, we need Express in here. And let's see, we need an app that's just calling Express. It's just basically creating Express like that. And that should be it. App.listen to port 3000. And then we can just let's just console log listening on 3000. How many times have you done this on a node server, huh? Just another one here. Okay, what's going on here? Loader index.js. That's not. Alright, so let me just change. That's actually server.js. We knew that. You guys should have told me. Where were you? What is going on here? Let's do that again. Nodemon server.js. Okay, there it is. So, restart it. Alright, so we have this right here, and let's build an endpoint real quick. So let me just app.get. Let's just get on the root right here, and let me just I know usually I would do this through Vim, but let's face it, VS Code is ridiculously good. So right here, and let me just oops, I forgot to, we need to grab the request and the response, and let's just do response that sends something that is there. Yay. Okay, let's see if that's okay. So that's good. Let's check out localhost 3000. Yay. Okay, so it sends back. So that's local, but if you were to be external, and I wish I had the phone hooked up, but you couldn't do it. What you could do though is, now if I go over here, let's ngrok. So you can use homebrew. You can do like you can do brew cask install this thing ngrok. And the reason, because then it installs it like a service, because I'm on a Mac, it'll do it like a service and globally, so you can, do that nice little startup start, so you don't have to worry about it. Otherwise, you have to do all that download to a directory, and then, make sure that it's global. I'm kind of more from a Windows side most of my regular career, so it's that's kind of back in my hand. But anyway, the homebrew is the greatest, and it takes care of a lot of stuff for you. For me, I like using it, so you can choose which one you'd like. So if we ngrok, I already have it, and you can HTTP, and let's say 3000 right here. Okay, so see how it does this? It generates these things for you, HTTP and HTTPS. So we can just grab this one, and let's just throw it in a browser. And I really wish I had the phone for you, but if I did that, yay. Okay, so it actually hit my running server, and this is real right here. And if you were to go, I guess right now you'd have to kind of trust me on this, but go ahead and try it for yourself. When you do this, you'll notice, like, go to your phone, and I'm punching in. Actually, let me see if I can do that. Oh no. Okay, you take this, you throw it into your phone, get off your network, just to prove to yourself, because I'm not trying to blow smoke or anything. This is you can access it, and there are a number of different services that do this as well. You can get this, and it's just a really easy way. And back to the case that I was talking about, that REST hook, you're going to need that exposed. And when you're doing development locally for these APIs, in order for you to go and hook up to and create a REST hook, it needs something real that's that's exposed to the web that it can verify, and then it knows it's verified. So that's a separate tutorial. And that other people have implemented that on certain CRMs and stuff, so you can do that whole pub sub thing. But this is how you do that. Use it on your phone. That's it. So that's ngrok. And just to finish things off, so this is like, I like passing on the golden nuggets of information. Something that I'm just gonna say verbally. I'll probably do a separate thing on this. I come from a lot of .NET experience, and when you're in there, this is great for Node and something simple. Got your ngrok, HTTP 3000, that kind of thing. But if you are on something like Visual Studio, and it takes a little bit of there's something like slightly different, and you can figure out the command and use your ngrok that way through the command line, if you have something to prove. But if you want it completely easy just off the start, go ahead and get the Visual Studio extension or the plugin off of NuGet packages. There's an ngrok out there. It's obviously the first hit that you're gonna find. Install that. You'll find in your tools menu, then after you restart your Visual Studio, you'll see start the tunnel, the ngrok. Right now I'm on the Mac side of things. I didn't boot camp my Windows right now, but you'll see that that's really easy, and it knows Visual Studio. It knows what the local host is. It just makes your life pretty easy, which Visual Studio, the mother of all IDEs, almost takes the coding out of it. It just does everything for you. So if you're interested, try this ngrok. It's to expose things. Like, you want a quick test, talk to your friend in, like, I don't know, my friend in Boston or something, that you want to say, like, hey, can you access this URL? Okay, cool. Is that working? Like, just quick test. Say you're bootstrapping something, I don't know, running some project. Try that. Don't go on, buy a server, like, with credits and stuff, and that. Just do it like this. Plus, you'll have that extra confidence in it, and you turn off your tunnel, and you cut off from the external world. So I hope this made sense. Drop some comments in there. This one I had to tell you because when doing this REST hook stuff, this was really valuable for me. This video is a little bit longer than I intended it. I'm a bit of a minimalist, but you guys get it. So talk to you next time. Keep spreading out the things that I find that I think help with development. All right, later.